Mr. Ovais Sarmad, good afternoon and
Good afternoon.
welcome to the UN Pavilion. And you're our second guest in a series of discussions with UN colleagues and partners where we are trying to bring to the larger audience beyond the UN family few important facts about climate crisis and why it's important to act now. So, looking at your very rich CV, you actually are former Deputy Executive Secretary of UNFCCC, and currently you're serving as a Vice Chair to something which is named Greenhouse Gas Protocol Steering Committee. What is it?
Okay, well, first of all, it's a pleasure for me to be here, and thank you for inviting. And again, it's a pleasure. So, Greenhouse Gas Protocol, very short, very brief, has been in existence for about 20 years. As it said, it's a protocol to measure greenhouse gas emissions. So, if you think about it, it's a first step for any corporate world organization or public sector organization when they start the journey of reducing their greenhouse gas emissions. They need to measure, first of all, how much is it that they are emitting. And the protocol is the tool that provides that technicality, the mechanism to measure the greenhouse gas emissions. And it's not just one gas, there are the whole spectrum of gas: carbon, methane, nitrogen, and so on. So this protocol is now a global standard implemented by many governments, including the Fortune 500 companies. So I am now the co-chair, vice chair of the steering committee to make sure it remains independent, has the integrity, credibility, and transparency as a standard.
That's fantastic. And I think it's really telling that we are having you today at the sixth day of COP29, which is also the theme of the day is science, innovation, technology, and digitalization. Countries are now being asked really to up their ambition, and they need to prepare the new nationally determined contribution, the third iteration of it, 3.0. And from UN side, we want countries to be very ambitious. We want them to include all greenhouse gases, as you have said. These to be an economy-wide, almost investment plans. What do you think are some of the challenges that the countries will have in having really a super ambitious NDCs 3.0, but also actually to implement them and reduce the greenhouse gases emissions?
Very good. It's a very good question. From a country's perspective, in order for the countries to take real concrete action, yes, there are many challenges depending on what stage of the country you are, either developing, in transition. So every country will have their own ways of addressing this and getting to higher level of ambition in their in the net zero journey. So some of the main challenges, especially if you're from the developing world, is finance. Absolutely, depending on what other challenges that country is facing. But as you move up to the other aspects of development, be it in transition or even the most developed country, there are politics, geopolitics of addressing climate change, and there are climate skeptics who prevent that from happening, and the public opinion. But on the public opinion, from my perspective, there actually is a very strong motivation for every country, every organization to do more. So that's where I would like to pick up and say, listen to the public, listen to the younger generation, to the future generations, what they're demanding. And that's where you overcome the challenges. And my last point would be, when we talk about the challenges of climate change are not just about impacts of climate change. Climate change is a threat multiplier. You take any other issue, social, environmental, financial, political, you overlay the climate change impacts with it, it just multiplies, makes it worse. But on the inverse side, the opportunities of addressing climate change, moving to greener, more sustainable, renewable energy sources of energy, and sustainable businesses and sustainable government practices, also there is a multiplier effect. When you do that, it's much more beneficial, again, from a social, environmental, and now actually a moral standpoint, that it is a beneficial thing.
Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon.
It's a great pleasure. Thank you very much.